This episode of Unqualified is brought to you by McDonald's, proudly serving communities since 1965. On the drive to and from my parents' house in Washington State, we almost always stop at two particular McDonald's, one in Salem, Oregon, and another in Eureka, California. At the moment, we are in the parking lot of the Salem location, and I just finished a Big Mac and fries. Even though we are just passing through, I appreciate the familiarity and feeling of community. The other day, I was looking through my mother-in-law's photo album and came across a photo where she and her friends are standing in front of a McDonald's wearing their cheerleading uniforms. I usually call my mother-in-law New Mom, but her name is Marcia. Under the photo, Marcia had written a note, and I talked her into letting me read it here. San Bernardino, California. I have so many memories of this McDonald's over the years. My father took me there on what I think was opening day. What a thrill it was as a young girl to order a chocolate shake, hamburger, and French fries. Then there was the time when my cousin Hinda and I were given a tour and allowed to take dill pickles by the cupful out of a huge barrel. We must have eaten 100 pickles each. Everyone in my family knows the story of how I accidentally missed the ketchup container and dipped a fry into my milkshake. Now when I dip fries in my shake, it's on purpose. I remember when I was 12 years old, my mother and my cousin Noel Novak, Larry's brother, picked me up from dance class, and we went for dinner to celebrate Noel's graduation from high school. Years later, when I was in high school, we would go to McDonald's every Friday night after the football game. I wish you could see this photo. Marcia couldn't remember if they won the game that night, but everyone is smiling as if they did. Wherever your local McDonald's is, there's nothing better than that wonderful feeling of community.
Dear listeners, we have the most amazing Adam Carolla on today, and I'm beyond thrilled because Adam Carolla is somebody that I have been a huge fan of for years, and now he's sitting in my living room, and I was a little nervous.
Really?
Yeah, when he pulled up, I was like, I got that like giddy, starstruck, like he pulled up, and I was just thrilled.
You know, it's a weird thing. You can never estimate how people feel about you because you just feel about you the way you feel about you, and you always feel like you're just sort of a regular piece of shit. And so it's always weird when someone was talking about you, or they were nervous or whatever. For me, it's always confusing. Like, why were they talking about me? Or why does that person even know who I am? I wouldn't assume that you would know who I was.
Oh my God. No, of course I do. I've been a huge fan of yours for truly years. In fact, I think Loveline gave birth somewhere deep in my brain to this idea of giving advice, but you guys were much more qualified than we are to. But I love hearing about people's.
Well, I had Dr. Drew. I mean, I used to say all the time, it's the only thing I said that Dr. Drew ever liked, which is people used to say, how do you describe what you two do? And I would say, well, Drew is the medicine. But if your dog has worms and you want to give your dog an antibiotic and you hand the dog an antibiotic pill, the dog just spits it out. But if you take a little hamburger and you mash it in, I said, he's the pill and I'm the burger. And that's the only thing I've ever said that Drew went, yeah, okay, that's a 5. But, you know, the thing that's weird about radio is all those years you sit in a little box in front of people who are not amused with what you're saying. And then when you're done, you go home and you never know who's out there and who's listening. So it's sort of the exact opposite of being a jock or sports star. So if you are a sports star, you go into an arena, the arena is filled, people are chanting your name, and if you score a touchdown or drain a three-pointer to win the game as a buzzer beater, you walk out of that place knowing what happened.
Right.
Radio, there's a whole bunch of arenas that could be cheering, but you're not in them.
And don't you think, too, there's a weird sense of security with the headphones and the microphone where you feel insulated in a really deceptive way, right? Like, I feel like when I put this on, there's kind of, you're muffled. And so it feels like I can say whatever the fuck I want.
I always used to describe Loveline as Drew had a mic, I had a mic, we'd put earphones on, and it was just an intercom that we would use to talk back and forth to each other. And I always tell anyone who's starting out, the second you think about who's listening, you're done. You can't do that.
Right.
You can't think about a family member. You can't
I think about my parents all the time, but then I apologize.
Yeah, you can't think that they're listening. You can't think that schoolmates or teachers or ex-lovers or whomever, or even some celebrity who you know or don't know whose movie you think sucked. Like, the second you start filtering, like, who's listening, like, picture you going out to lunch with one of your friends and how altered that conversation would be if the person you were talking about was sitting next to you. And so you don't want this to be altered.
Right.
So you just have to talk like nobody's listening.
It's true. You're right. That's one of the wonderful things about podcasting is that and radio or whatever, is that people appreciate the honesty, getting to know. I mean, I play characters. That's how, sort of people have known me, is through the veil of a character. And this has given me the liberation of sort of being myself, I guess, sort of.
I've known you for an hour, and all you've done is eat carbs.
So I'm
There's a Rice Krispie treat in there, too.
I know, a half-eaten one. My son ate the other half, but I saw it upstairs, and I thought the ants were going to get it, and then I also thought it looked sort of delicious.
Well, you can't eat the ants because they're not a carb or alcohol.
I have eaten ants. Have you eaten ants?
I am sure in my life, by mistake. Actually, one time when I was a kid and I was grounded, and I sat in my room back when you'd get grounded and you'd go to your room and there was nothing in your room but you. And there's an ant crawling around on my sheet, and I think I ate it.
You did?
I was that bored. It was like that scene in Animal House where John Belushi's just sitting on the steps like after the party, and he's just looking at a thing of mustard, and he just dumps it on himself like, I got nowhere else to go. I got nothing to do. The party's over. I'm not getting laid. Like, it's done. I'm going to eat this ant.
This episode of Unqualified is brought to you in part by State Farm. And in honor of their surprisingly great auto insurance rates, I'm going to tell you about a particularly surprising day on set. It takes me a long time to read a script. For almost every line of dialogue, I will stop to figure out why my character would say it, how it fits in the conversation, and how it's going to come out of my mouth. Between the lines, there are larger chunks of text which describe everything else happening in the scene. Maybe what a room looks like, what characters are wearing, and what they're doing. As I often underestimate how long everything in my life takes, I know I can make up some time by reading those larger chunks a little faster. I got the script for Overboard about 6 months before we started production. I read it in my warm living room, wearing comfortably warm clothes, sipping from a warm mug of tea. Somehow, it never occurred to me that when you jump off a boat in the middle of the ocean, the water is surprisingly cold. And it doesn't get any warmer on take 2. Here at Unqualified, we love State Farm because they provide coverage that meets your needs at a surprisingly great rate. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or go to statefarm.com for a quote today. This episode of Unqualified is brought to you in part by Warby Parker. Warby Parker was founded with a rebellious spirit and the lofty goal of creating boutique quality eyewear at a revolutionary price point. Sunglasses, with or without a prescription, start at $95 and, just like eyeglasses, are available through their home try-on program. You just choose 5 pairs and see which ones you like. I was surprised by how quickly they arrived, which presented me with the immediate problem of deciding which ones to keep. I loved all of them, so you can guess what happened. And not only can you feel good about how cool you look, you can also feel good knowing that for every pair of glasses sold, Warby Parker distributes a pair of glasses to someone in need through partnerships with nonprofits like Vision Spring. Offering eyeglasses, sunglasses, contact lenses, and eye exams, Warby Parker is committed to providing exceptional vision care online and in stores. So put your FSA or HSA dollars to good use on Warby Parker prescription glasses, prescription sunglasses, contact lenses, and eye exams. Try Warby Parker's free home try-on program. Order 5 pairs of glasses to try at home for free for 5 days. There's no obligation to buy. Ships free and includes a prepaid return shipping label. Try 5 pairs of glasses at home for free at warbyparker.com/unqualified. That's warbyparker.com/unqualified.
So now I've got a few things I want to talk to you about.
All right.
I was going to start with a rapid fire. How do you feel about that? Or I have a home improvement question to ask you.
Anything you like.
Which one would you prefer?
Home improvement.
Okay. So I got this in the mail the other day. And I happen to like this plumbing company, so I don't want you to mention the name.
Okay.
But this I got a flyer, listeners. This completely baffled me. The flyer is about saving water by fixing leaks. And it offers this tablet that you drop into the tank, stir slightly, wait 15 minutes. If color appears in bowl, you have a leak. Mm-hmm. Does that make any sense to you?
Yes. Because it means you have a bad ball cock valve.
What? How does that pill know that? I thought it was just a scam.
How dare you call me a pill? I may not have a college education, my dear, but I'm certainly not a pill. Not when it comes to water saving. The tank sits behind the toilet. There's a ball cock valve that shuts off once the toilet bowl refills and the tank refills. You put this colored tablet in there, and just like when the doctor shoots the dye into your veins to like see where grandpa's arteries are clogged to follow the dye. If you drop this thing into your toilet tank and you see the dye starting to drift into the bowl, it means you have a bad seal.
Oh my God.
On the bottom of your ball cock valve. I thought this
plumbing company was just I thought it was just like a time release dye tablet. So like it would just, turn blue after a few minutes, and they'd be able to get you over to your house. Yeah, no, it's that thing where there's a float. There's that round thing that's at the top that comes up. It has the chain, and then that's the ball cock valve, and the bottom is the Adam,
seal. Yeah. You
did not give me the answer I wanted.
So it's not a scam.
Well, it's a scam in that probably 89% of toilets are going to have a little bleed through in terms of what's coming out and what's going in. So they probably know that they're going to find. It's kind of like, when they do like free brake inspections, there's no such thing as putting your car in the lift, pulling off the rims and not seeing a little wear on the rotors or the drums or the pads or what have you. And then it just sort of goes from there. It's we'll clean any 3 rooms. We'll clean the carpet of any 3 rooms in your house for $17.95. Like, you can't make a living doing that.
Yeah.
They have to find something else when they show up.
All right. Well, so you're saying that this is sort of legit.
Well, is this the tablet that comes with it?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to eat this tablet.
Okay.
And
we'll see if you have a leak.
When we'll know it's time to end the podcast, when it ends up on the furniture, on the upholstery of this chair.
Well, I guess in a weird way I'm relieved. I'm also disappointed because I assumed that this seemed like a ridiculous idea.
Adam, she was so excited when she showed me this. Like, oh my God, I'm going to talk to Adam about this, and he's going to say this is complete bullshit and it's a scam, and then I'm going to expose it. But nope, it's completely legit.
Well, it is, in that we've all heard the toilet running, right? That
Sure.
And then you got to jiggle the handle, and you're jiggling the handle to try to get the flap at the bottom to sit.
Like legitimate. Like, I mean, that's when you know you leak. I just thought this was a time release tablet. If your toilet turns blue, then, which just didn't make any sense. Like, how the hell is a tablet supposed to tell you if your toilet's leaking?
Well, I like this though.
All right. Well, you can have it. Here's your podcast gift. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, your entry hall toilet's got some ants in it.
I know.
By the way,
I know. I'm sorry about that.
That's all right. I whizzed on them.
Did you see? I have some traps up there. Okay, so now we're gonna
on those too.
Oh, good.
I figured they were in there.
Good.
Bands. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna save your dried up whiz.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna give it to somebody. I don't know who. Who would you like me to give your dried up whiz to? Allison Janney or
Allison Janney. You know what? She's gotten so much of my dried up whiz over the years that I don't feel like it. I feel like the bloom is off the whiz rose with her. Like you're gonna see Allison on Monday, and she's gonna be like, "Oh, I'll add this to my," and then she'll open up a locker, and I'll have a bunch of Adam Carolla's dried up
she hides
whiz
that key
up there, and then she'll put it up there and go, "Great."
She'll be thrilled.
Awesome to have another one of these. Yeah, so I think you should give it to someone who probably hasn't experienced my dried up whiz yet.
Okay. All right. So now we're going to do a rapid fire series. And then, if you don't mind, we're going to talk a little bit about sports. And then we're going to get to some callers.
Whatever you like.
Okay. Are you sure?
Yes.
You didn't sound that that wasn't very enthusiastic. Can you say whatever you like?
Well, I've gotten this problem.
I don't want to give you a line reading.
No, but I've had this problem in my life before, and I should probably clarify it, which is I speak like a pilot. You know what I mean? Like when somebody calls me up and they go, "I'm running late. The 101 is totally fucked up." I go, "When are you going to be here?" And they go, "There's like a jackknife big. When are you going to be here?"
So you're direct.
Yeah, I'm just like, when? And then they tell me 20 minutes. I go, "Good." And then I hang up because I don't want to get into all the machinations.
Yeah,
and then
cares?
But then they think I'm a dick. But I'm just speaking
I
just want the information.
Yeah,
and here we go.
All right, then here we go.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you some I'm going to give you some questions.
All right.
You'll give me some information. Here we go.
Time.
Favorite city in the world?
I'm going Seattle. We talked about it off the air, but
all right,
I love that place.
See, I like that. What can you cook better than anyone you know?
Hungarian. I can. My grandfather did Hungarian, and I'll say chicken paprikash.
I would love to get into that more with you, but we'll do that later. If someone wrote a biography about you, what should be the title? What would be the title?
Why didn't anyone ever listen to me?
But this is a biography.
Oh,
so that would be the author would be.
Mm-hmm. So the title should have my name in it?
It's not an autobiography, so you don't have control.
Oh, they would write it.
Exactly. You don't have control over the title.
An unauthorized biography.
Yeah. I think it would be, let's see, my wife's Italian, and she would call me the Big Cascia, a big casino. It's an Italian thing, means like just noisy, doesn't shut up.
Adam Carolla.
The Big Cascia.
The Big Cascia.
Yeah.
I like it. Right. If you were on a lifeboat with all of your cars and you could only save one, which one would it be?
Well, they have an amphibious car. I don't own one, sadly, although if I knew this day was coming, I would purchase one of those ampha cars, they're called. You can literally drive them just down where they dock the boats and drive it right into the river. Like, it works. They mass produce these cars.
Okay, but let's say you're on a lifeboat in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
So there's no land in sight. You can only save one of them.
I would have to go with, I have Paul Newman's 1985 GT1 winning championship car that he drove to a world or national GT1 championship in 1985. And I say that car.
That's amazing. All right. I don't know I can't get a visual on that. But
it looks, it's hard to describe it without getting too technical, but it's a full-blown race car that had 750 horsepower that shot fire out of the side. And Paul Newman drove it and won the championship in 85.
Did you get that car before or after the documentary you directed?
I had it before. I've had it. Okay. I have his team cars, his cars that he drove for the season from 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, and 90. And 91. I think I've like 6 years consecutively of all the cars that he drove for that season. He didn't own them.
It's really cool.
If you could trade places with any famous person for a week, who would it be?
I'd say Oprah, and I'd just feel my tits all day. That's all I do.
And would you be in Montecito as Oprah, or do you want to be on the show?
I'd go to Montecito, wherever a good like tit grabbing country would be. I'd say.
Well, then you could look out on the ocean.
I couldn't see it because I'd be blocked by my tits. It'd be over my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say it'd be Oprah, and then I'd probably, when I was done squeezing my tits, I'd probably just walk around to people who saw me as Oprah, right?
Well,
would they see me as Oprah?
Yeah, but
and then I'd go fuck with people.
Like what? Well, all right. This is a different area to explore, but I'm more interested in the male fantasy of if they were a woman, they would grab their tits all day.
Only Oprah for me.
Only Oprah.
Yeah. So then when I came back, I'd have a story.
Kate Upton, like
okay, any port in a titty storm. yeah, Kate Upton too. Yeah, I might go as Kate Upton.
But what is that like? There is something about like the man's fantasy of sort of if you were a woman, you grab your tits all day.
Yeah, no, I get it.
There are some nerve endings in there, but there aren't a ton.
No,
like you think you go down below.
This is me being Oprah, not experiencing Oprah through Oprah.
What
this is Adam Carolla's Oprah.
What if you went around as Oprah topless? Imagine the stories.
I'd do that.
And then Oprah is suddenly like, I don't know who the hell inhabited my body. That was not me. I was not wandering around Santa Barbara with my tits out, feeling them all day long.
I would do stuff like I'd go find Gail and tell her it's off. I'll never see you again. Like, I'm tired. You're barnacle on my ass.
Cruel.
Like, we're not going camping.
Cruel.
No more.
So you're mean.
I would just go undo a bunch of stuff. Like, I'm taking that girls' school back in Africa, and I'm going to turn it into a water park. Like, I would just make crazy announcements. I'd grab a podium and just start making crazy announcements.
And she's going to have to backtrack. She's going to be like, I don't know.
She's going to have to dig her way out of that. Like, once she inhabits her body, she's going to be like, I don't know what to do first. Like, rest my tits or walk this stuff back.
Like, what the PR? Like, that
it's going to be a disaster. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well,
that's what I'd do.
At least we know.
I would campaign for Donald Trump.
Oh,
that would be awesome.
Like, what would you do?
I'd just be like, as a woman of color, I know what it's like to be oppressed, and
are you going
to
show your tits? Like, what if
that would be very straight with that. Yeah.
All right, that would be fun too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now next one. Funny. I think this is a tough one. Sim wrote this, but I would think this is a tough one. But maybe you have something interesting. Funniest prank played on you.
I don't know how well it works into the rapid fire.
That's not really. It's a loose rapid fire. You can get into it.
Well, it's not my fault, but I think one of the greatest, certainly celebrity-based practical jokes of all time is when I was doing the Man Show with Jimmy. We sat in the same office. We shared the same office for all the years we did it. And at some point, I got a phone call from my agent, and maybe it was a Willie Morse guy. I can't remember. Maybe it was my manager at the time. I can't remember. But anyway, the deal was... Oh, it was my agent's assistant, I think, and my manager's assistant. And he said, you know the Dixie Chicks? And I said, yeah, I know the Dixie Chicks. And he said, you know the lead blonde, Natalie Maines? And I said, yeah. And he said, well, she wants you to escort her to the Grammys. And I said, why? And he said, I don't know, but that's just what she would like. And I said, all right. And then I said... well, I have a girlfriend. And he said, yeah, but people do this stuff all the time. Like, it's done. it's done quite often. And I said, you can do this? Like, you can escort somebody to the Grammys and, like, just escort them there, but you can still have a girlfriend who's not pissed, you know? And he's like, yeah, they do it all the time. And so I said, okay. So
are you getting to, like, tux? Do I need, like, a tux or?
Yeah, I'm like,
should we have a conversation before?
How does it work and everything? And so I went and told my girlfriend, guess what? You know, and she was pissed. Like, she didn't understand a word of it. And I remember just saying to her, listen,
really funny.
You get tickets to events and K-Rock weenie roasts and Christmas parties, and you get to go to premieres. You get a ton of cool free shit.
How did you put
because
K-Rock weenie roast?
These are hard tickets to get. The Cruise to Christmas, the weenie roast, the backstage, everything. You get all this shit, but occasionally you got to pay the fiddler. And this is one of those occasions. But I'm going to go from the Grammys on Sunday night to Loveline the second the Grammys end. They'd start out here at like 6. They'd end at like 9:15, and I'm right off to Culver City. So she was pissed, but I went anyway with Natalie and the rest of the Dixie Chicks. And
wait, this wasn't a prank?
No, this part isn't a prank.
Oh my God. This just sounds awesome.
It turns into a prank.
Oh, okay.
It starts off as what could have been one of the best nights of my life.
Okay, so you go and you're having a great time and you're like...
And the Dixie Chicks win the Grammy for Best New Artist. And everyone's going insane. And I can't hug Natalie because we're on TV. And I'm sitting next to her. And everyone else is kissing their boyfriends and husbands and everything. And then I leave to go do Loveline. And they go off to like Quincy Jones' house to do coke. You know, like whatever you do after the Grammys. And I go home. And I go do Loveline, and I go home, and I go back to the office the next day, and there's a huge bouquet of flowers sitting on my desk, and it's got Natalie's phone number on it, and it says, hey, you know, had a great time last night. Give me a call. And so I called her on the way into Loveline that night, and she picked up the phone, and she was in Nashville, and she picked up the phone. She's like, oh, hey, Adam. I'm just watching you on MTV right now in my bedroom. And I was like, wow, you really got it bad for me, don't you? And she's hot, you know? And she's like got a Grammy.
They're all hot. Yeah,
she can play the banjo and stuff, you know? And I said, you know, I really want to thank you for the flowers that you sent. And I had a great time. And she's like, well, no problem. No problem at all. And I was like, but, you know, I have a girlfriend, and, you know, we're pretty serious.
Oh my God. So you entered, you were like,
I was like,
oddly felt like you had to
but,
establish boundary.
Well, you asked me to escort you to the Grammys, and you sent me flowers and stuff, and you got to be feeling pretty good about yourself because you're rich and you're blonde and you're 27 and you play the banjo. So I was like, but, you know, and she's like, yeah, okay, well, you're welcome for the flowers and all that stuff. And then I said, next time you come into LA, you come do the radio show. And then I came back to the office the next day, and there was a giant Mrs. Fields, like, oversized cookie on my desk that said, like, thinking of you, Natalie.
No. Oh,
yes.
my God.
Yes. So.
Oh, my God. This is good.
I was like,
this is
okay.
Good.
And all right. And, you know, and the next day I got there, and there was a box, and it had some panties in them.
No.
Yes.
Who's doing this to you?
We'll get to that.
At this point, I think it's Natalie from the Dixie Chicks. And in the
box. Were they cute panties? Like what? Like? Come on, you totally remember.
Oh yeah, they were good. They were good girls. Well, the panties,
were they crotchless?
No, but they were. It's like who was wearing the panties. It's not the panties. It's who was wearing them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
sort of.
Well, I mean,
me.
there are cute panties, but if someone said, "Oh yeah, your mom just dropped these before she jumped in the shower," I'd never stop vomiting. But if like, "Oh, these fell off out of Cindy Crawford's hamper when she was driving down to the coin op," I'd be like, "I'm definitely mounting these things in a lucite case." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's whose panties, not just the panty. You know.
Did you smell them?
I did. Not only smell them, I put them on my head, and I did like a victory lap around the Man Show offices because I was working for the Man Show, and Jimmy and there was like a note in the box that said like, "We need to fuck now," and Jimmy was like, "You better call her and you better straighten her out because she's psycho. And she's out of control." And I was like, "I'll call her." And he's like, "You should call her now." And I was like, "Nah, I'll call her when I'm driving into Loveline." And so I called her when I was going into Loveline, and I said, "Hey, I'm really flattered that you sent all the nice things that you've sent, but I do have a girlfriend, and but if you guys want to come on and be a guest on the show when you come into town, that would be awesome. But you probably stop maybe sending the gifts and stuff." And she's like, "Okay." And I was like, "All right." And I was like, I hung up the phone, and then the next day there was a huge yeah. There was a huge, and I'm fucking up the story a little bit. There was a huge 6-foot sub, and the big 6-foot sub sandwich had a big sign in it that said, "I will not be ignored." And Jimmy was like, "This chick is psycho, man. She's psycho. You got to call her now, and you got to call her now." And you got to you got to stop being so nice because she's not picking up your hints. So you call her now. And I was like, "I'll call her when I'm going into Loveline tonight." And he's like, "Call her now. You call her now because I don't trust you. And you're not saying, you're not speaking the right way. Like you got to talk to her. You got to dig into her." So I called her, and I said, and she picked up the phone, and she was at a Pottery Barn with her mom. That much I remember. And she's like, "Hello?" And I was like, "Hey, listen, Natalie, it's Adam." And she's like, "Yeah?" And I'm like, "Look, I'm sorry. I have to be blunt, but, I tried to be nice, but with the cookies and the panties and, wanting to fuck and everything else. And it's like, look, I'm flattered. I get it. Like, I totally get it. And I'm fucking flattered. I want to fuck too, but I have a girlfriend and I'm committed and I can't be." And she's like, "What? What the fuck are you talking about?" And I was like, "The cookies and the panties and the sandwiches." And she's like, "What are you talking about?" And I was like, "Come on, you know what I'm talking about. I've got your panties here. I got your cookie is here, and the sub we're eating, all the writers are eating it." And she's like, I didn't send you anything." And I was like, "You didn't send me anything. I called you and thanked you for this huge bouquet of flowers, and you said you're welcome." And she's like, "I thought my publicist sent those, so I was just saying, fine." Like if somebody called you and said thank you for the flowers, what would you say? Of course. Yeah, you deserve it. You deserve it. Yeah. Right. Give them some water. So I was like, "You never sent all this shit? None of it was from you?" And she's like, "I don't know what the fuck you're talking about." And then I looked up, and Jimmy was standing on his desk, and he was filming me with a video camera.
Oh my God!
So that was
that's a good one.
It's a pretty good one.
That is a really good one.
That's a good prank. Yeah.
That's a good one.
And everyone says to me, like,
destroyed your relationship.
It could have, yeah, yeah. But it's funny because everyone says to me, like, "Oh, how could you fall for that?" And it's like, well, she asked me to take her to the Grammys. She started it. Like, it wasn't like I'm just completely delusional. Like I'm in prison.
The weird submarine sandwich turn.
The thing that was funny about the submarine sandwich, when I walked in to our office and it was there, I was like, "I love Giamello's. How did she know I love Giamello so much?" And all the writers started filing in with like paper plates and stuff. I'm like, how did you guys know we're getting a sub sandwich? And they're like, "Oh, we just figured we'd have a sub sandwich." Like, they all knew about it, so nobody brought lunch or ordered Chinese food or anything. They all just started walking in with plates and knives. Yeah, that should have been a tell, but I was too deep at that point.
All right, one last question. And we're going to get to some callers, but I also need some football advice in a second. Do you like Rubik's Cubes?
No.
Okay.
I don't need any device. I already know I'm dumb. I don't need evidence that I'm dumb. You know what I mean? Like I don't need a block of plastic that is a living testament to me being dumb.
The reason why I wanted to ask you that was because I know with, you're a filmmaker, you're a contractor, like you have all this experience sort of kind of solving puzzles in weird ways.
Well, yeah, I'm with you. And to me, these are problems that I love solving in building and in architecture and engineering things and making, documentaries and things like that. Like, it's all big one problem. But this is sort of like saying, I know you love digging, so you can dig a hole and then we'll fill it back up again and then you can dig it again. And it's like, I like digging a hole so I can lay some rebar so we can pour a grade beam, but not just to dump dirt back into it and dig it again. That's what the Rubik's Cube is. It's like, it's for people in prison.
Yeah, well, my husband loves.
Is he in the joint?
But he loves solving puzzles and problems and like.
Well, I'm not. I'm also like, I'm not into challenges that erode my self-esteem. Like,
yes.
I don't want to sit here wrestling with this thing for 3 days while some 9-year-old Asian kid goes and then
I
hands
know.
it to
That's
me.
what I'm saying. I hate bowling. I hate ping pong. I hate pool. I hate anything that you're right. Like, I'm bad at. Like, something that makes me feel I'm.
Yeah, no, I'll give you a very concrete example of that. I'm a horrible speller, and I've never played a game of Scrabble in my life. Because I already know I'm a horrible speller,
yeah, well, you don't
and
need
I know my 9-year-old son can already beat me in Scrabble. So
totally
what do I
with you.
need to do that for?
Right, completely with you.
Yes.
Okay, now on to territory that you have a lot of expertise in. So, football. Mm-hmm. Chris and I are both Seattle Seahawks fans.
Sure.
I sort of pretended to be. I didn't have to pretend that much because I'm from Seattle. So, of course, I'm like an easy Seahawk fan or whatever. But I had never really watched games until I started dating Chris. Mm-hmm. And I kind of pretended to know what was going on a little more than I did. So meanwhile, we're early on in our relationship. I'm pretending to be.
We talking about us?
Yes.
Because it's the infancy.
It's hour two.
A little more Mangria and we can get a little further down the road pretty fast.
Okay, we should talk about this Mangria stuff. It's amazing. Okay, so early on in our relationship, it's like month 2. Mm-hmm. We're out and about at a pub, and we run into a friend of mine, this hot girl. Mm-hmm. And she's tall and brunette, and she knows everything about sports. Mm-hmm. And suddenly Chris and her are like engaged in this pretty sort of passionate conversation about sports. And I felt really insecure. Like, oh man, that must be so hot to a guy.
I don't want to burst your bubble, but Kimmel set her up. He said he's going to get a hot brunette to come in there. Coached her up on Seattle.
Oh boy,
she didn't know who Bosworth was. She didn't know who Largent was. Jimmy coached her up completely, sent her in, and pow.
But is that a turn on? And
I don't know. I have never wanted or needed a woman to know about cars or building or
some feels the same way
or anything that I'm into because it's what I'm into.
Right.
And by the same token, I don't need to know about anything that
so it wouldn't have like been a big turn on to you that you're like, oh my God, this girl like knows exactly what she's talking about.
I mean, there's a certain group of women. I mean, a lot of women. They want to learn as much about football so they can watch the game with the guy they're interested in and then feel like, oh, because I'm interested in this and because I feel like I've done a little bit of research, I know who Marshawn Lynch is and I know who all these people are. All of a sudden, the guys are going to be more attracted to that person because she feels like there's a vested interest. There's something there, and you know what I'm saying here.
Yeah.
I do, but I feel that's like more of a sitcom episode than it is an
in
actual
reality.
reality.
But you see
episode.
Instagram posts and of girls wearing Denver Broncos jerseys and saying "Go Peyton," and they don't really know much about football at
Right.
all, but they're putting on this show. Do you think part of it is because they feel like men will be interested in that at all?
I think men are super concrete and we're not all that flexible. Like, if you said to almost every guy, I think I know, would you rather date a 7 that knew everything about your home team and everything about a couple other interests you have? You like vintage cars or whatever the topic is. You have, Sim, let's say you're heterosexual. What?
I am.
Oh,
yes.
okay. That's what I said. Yeah, let's say. Your interests are...
My interests are sports, movies, comedy.
Right. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
All right. So every guy I know, if you took that guy and said, would you like to have a 7 who's really tuned up and coached up on sports and knows all the Albert Brooks movies and your home team and everything like that, or a 9.5 who's not brain dead, just doesn't know, not maybe she's from Europe and doesn't really know anything about American football and grew up doing ballet and knows nothing about Albert Brooks movies.
Right.
Every guy I know will take the 9.5.
no
so
question.
That's
of
how we're
course.
wired. So it's the same way I talk, whenever anyone talks about like racism, every guy I've ever known my entire life would take a 9 or 10 in any nationality over a 7 of their own nationality.
Mm-hmm.
I think that means
Anna is.
Anna,
She has this look of it's like anger, but it's not quite disgust. But I feel like you want to say something here.
I think it means we're evolved and Cro-Magnon at the same time. You know what I mean?
No,
No,
not at all.
not at all.
No, it
Evolved.
sort of means that you guys are dicks.
Well, we're visually oriented and is
Visually oriented. That's how you sort of, that's the veil for like being completely superficial.
Yes, we're very superficial. And we have a bevy of other guys who know way more about football than or I know that we can go watch football with every Sunday. So we don't need that person holding our hand.
You just need a 9.5 plus.
Who's working on her English.
Who's like making the onion dip in the kitchen.
Tatiana. Sweetie.
Oh, Adam, if only you were single.
Sweetie, there's no such thing as 6-layer dip. And there's no such thing as 8-layer
Adam,
dip. It's 7-layer dip. I don't care how they do it in the Ukraine.
I'm having like this unbelievably like complicated emotional feeling towards you right now.
It's like your Natalie Maines in 1999.
I adore you and I love you, but I'm also like completely repulsed.
But
it's wonderful.
I am the doctor.
I'm feeling a 7-layer dip of emotion towards you.
Wow. Well, let's get the guac to the top. I'm just telling you how guys are. I'm the surgeon who's explaining that we did an exploratory surgery and there's a lot of tumors in there. But don't blame me. I'm literally explaining what I saw.
What you saw?
What I've experienced. You know what I mean? I'm the messenger. I'm like your brother. Your brother goes out and studies groups, right? And then he comes back and gives the evidence, but we don't get pissed off at him. Why are the Hispanics doing better in math and social studies? Fuck you. I'm just telling you what's happening.
No, I got to tell you, Adam, it's true. You're right. I know. And listen, women aren't innocent. We love a hot dude.
Yeah, you're married to a hot dude.
But yeah, no, I'm grateful. I'm grateful.
Well, what I'm saying is it should come as a relief to most women because they don't have to pretend to be into something in order to attract a guy.
No, what the part of that's not a relief is that suddenly because most of us aren't like 9.5s. So then there's that scary thought of like, shit, what if I studied up a lot on football, but that's just not enough?
Well, the reality is this. I think most men are attracted to a woman their physicality, and then just their general being, like their state. Like, are they nice? Are they good?
Yeah.
You know, like it's not as specific maybe as it is for women toward men. Like, you know, women want a guy, oh, he's got to have a sense of humor, or he's got to be stoic, or he's got to have this sort of sensibility. And for men, really, the stuff that's never discussed is guys are attracted to women that are easy, like laid back, like kind of chill, you know, like not all freaked out, just kind of, and they say can watch the football and hang out with their friends, but they don't mean give a dissertation on the football game. They want an attitude.
Adam, let me ask you this. So Sim has, and I want to ask you, like, have you ever dated a girl that's so like incredibly hot, but then as sort of the relationship progresses and flaws reveal themselves, suddenly like your dude friends they've stopped saying, oh my God, dude, she's so hot, because she's kind of lame. And suddenly you find the attractiveness, even if she's like a 12 or whatever, suddenly you find it like, man, this isn't enough. This is just sort of.
Well, like, I've dated some really good looking women just out of luck or something. I don't know.
No, you're funny and handsome and charming.
I used to be, or something.
You are. You are.
Well, thank you. I mean, I have found that eventually first off,
but you know what I'm saying? Like
any car, like I always tell people when they go like, I want to get a Ferrari or I want to get a Bentley, I always go, 2 weeks in, it's just going to be your car. It'll be the car you drive. And you'll be throwing in and out burger wrappers on the passenger seat. And it's not going to be a Bentley. It'll be your car. You know what I mean? A Ferrari will be your car. Like look, that's how we're wired. It's how you could lose your eyesight or lose a limb and still just go on. Like you think now, like, oh my God, if I lost my eyesight, I'd kill myself. But plenty of people do, and they just go on and have a life. And it is actually the same life. Sometimes I would argue maybe even a better life.
No idea how this relates.
What I'm saying is whoever it is you're dating, living with, become intimate with, at a certain point, they just become your thing. That's your girlfriend. That's your boyfriend.
But you know what I mean? Like you must have dated a girl strictly for the hotness, quality, bragging rights, and when in literally 3-4 weeks in, you're like, oh my God. Like as soon as your friends stop saying, oh dude, she's so hot, because they've hung out with her a couple times and they're like, oh dude, she's kind of fucking lame.
I've dated some like hot, mean girls. Yeah. And normally, thankfully, they've preemptively dumped me before I had to get my wits about me. But I have. And it's a disposition, which is like, I do believe people are sort of like dogs, and that there's Labradors and Chihuahuas and everything in between, and some dogs are just inherently friendly, and some dogs are just little yapper snappers. I like to think of myself as like a Rhodesian Ridgeback, which is, a little oversized, generally good-natured, but then when I get pissed and you see that fur go the wrong direction along my spine, you got to run.
Like irrationally pissed, too? Like
no.
Or rationally pissed, like a Doberman or like a German Shepherd.
I say to people, and I think everyone does this, but I think they're mostly full of shit, but I think I mean it when I say that we will have the exact relationship that you dictate. That's what our relationship will be. So if you think I'm a dick, that's because you're being a dick. And if you think I'm cool, that's because you're being, but you will make our relationship whatever it is. It won't be me shaping it.
I wish I had that sort of I'm too insecure. Like, I seek too much approval. In fact, what kind of dog do you think I would be?
Well, you got those big eyes.
I'll go on.
And you have that wisp of blonde hair over your forehead.
A little bit.
I have you as a undersized, like a blonde lab, but a little bit of the runt of the litter. Not too runty.
Now, are you sure you want to do lab?
I had a lab named Molly. I love that dog dearly. We put her down a few months back. The kids watched Marley and Me the other night. Burst into a heap of tears. I probably could have told my wife. Probably could have seen this one coming down the road a little bit. That both of them were just a pile of tears, thinking about Molly. But she was really sweet. She had this great nature, which is, we're sitting at a table now, and if she would put her chin on your thigh because she'd want a little scrap, and if you gave her a scrap, she would reach out with her lips in kind of like
a horse.
Like she wouldn't let her teeth get near your fingers, whereas most dogs like snap or grab or run or whatever. And then when we had twins, the twins would grab her ears when they were 2 and crank on her tail and walk on her and stuff like that. And she never snapped or bit or did anything. She had a really sweet. Here's to Molly. She had a super sweet disposition.
This episode of Unqualified is brought to you in part by Osea. Wondering what to gift your friends and family this holiday season? Female founded over 25 years ago by a mother and daughter team, Osea's award-winning cleansers, serums, face moisturizers, and body products give you the results you want. Skin that looks and feels amazing. I recently got to try Osea's new body butter, which, like their now famous Undaria algae body oil, transforms dry skin without being greasy, has the same incredible scent, and leaves your skin soft, smooth, and healthy looking. If my experience is any indication, you can count on your partner giving you a lot of compliments. This holiday season, stock up and share your new favorite clean skincare and body care with your friends and family. Unqualified listeners get 10% off your first order with promo code ANNA at OseaMalibu.com. You'll get free samples with every order, and orders over $50 get free shipping. Gifting is always easier if you start early, so head to OSEAMalibu.com. Use code ANNA. This episode of Unqualified is brought to you in part by ZocDoc. Who gets excited about trying a new restaurant that has 2 out of 5 stars? When it comes to finding healthcare, don't ratings matter even more? ZocDoc is a free app where you can compare doctors, read reviews from real patients, and even make same-day appointments. When I finally called to reschedule my dentist appointment, I was told that my dentist had been retired for nearly 3 years. In my defense, parking was a nightmare. Through ZocDoc, I found a new dentist who had great reviews, took my insurance, and whose office was actually within walking distance. I was also able to book an appointment instantly without talking to a receptionist who made me feel guilty about not having my teeth cleaned for 3 years. My new dentist didn't make me feel guilty either, and only suggested I floss a little more often. Whether you need a primary care physician, dentist, dermatologist, psychiatrist, eye doctor, or other specialist, ZocDoc makes healthcare easy. Now is the time to prioritize your health. Go to ZocDoc.com/unqualified and download the ZocDoc app. Sign up for free and book a top-rated doctor who might be available as soon as today. That's ZocDoc.com/unqualified.
Would you like a half nibbled on Rice Krispie treat?
I'm good, but thank you.
Adam Carolla refuses Krispie treat.
Well, are those homemade Rice Krispie treats?
No, they are sure not.
Because I've found that the store-bought ones I don't like as much.
I know.
Well, I'll take a taste.
Ooh, you know what? I
buns
should
on.
give you a homemade. Are you a chocolate kind of guy?
Hello?
Hi,
Hello?
Sierra.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like
this is
chocolate.
Hey, Sierra, how are you? You're on Unqualified.
Good.
Anna is here, and
Hello.
so is Adam Carolla. Say hi to Adam.
Oh, hello.
Hello. How are you?
Hi.
This is so exciting.
I know, for me too, because Adam is one of my heroes, and he's a veteran, and now we get to talk to you, and so we're like Sierra, Sim, and
Well, when you say
myself.
veteran, let's clarify what you mean by veteran.
Well, he served in how many wars?
I was in Grenada originally. That was back. I lied about my age. I was still in high school when we took over Grenada. It was a. I mean, a lot of people think it was just a nursing school that we liberated there, but there's a cafeteria attached to it as well. So it was a little more than just a nursing school. I think people can be.
But
words can hurt. It's all I'm saying.
Sierra, you're talking to two unqualified people and one very qualified person.
Yes. Well, Adam's been doing. Adam's done this for many years, so he'll. I'm sure he's.
Yeah, I listen to him a lot too. So
Well, thank you.
You know what?
Yes,
I'm
I'm a
curious
fan.
to see if Adam has ever heard of something like this before. So, Sierra, you're completely devoted to your loving husband. He now wants to watch you having sex with other men. So you're completely cool with this, but you're unsure of how. Well, you're unsure of how to invite friends or other dudes to participate. So, tell us a little more about that.
Yeah.
oh, wait. Who's talking?
Adam,
You're talking. You're talking now.
Okay, so basically, it's I'm sure people that are unfamiliar with it. It's kind of a thing. He's kind of into the idea of me with other guys, and not necessarily watching, but that is definitely something that kind of intrigues him. But he's more so into the idea of hearing about it or being part of it in some way, kind of having a little bit of control over it. But he also said things like, just go do whatever you want. I just think it's kind of hot, the idea of other men wanting you and you being with other men. So, and we've tried other things, and this is just kind of a new development, and it sounds like something I would be down for.
When you say tried other things, what does that mean?
Well, I guess we're just really open to trying new things. So
have you had
if there's something-
threesomes and stuff like that?
Yeah, definitely.
Here's my first blush on this, but it was always a love line related thing. So I've talked about this a lot. I always think that this is a pathway to sort of escape intimacy and a beginning to an end for you guys. I've never really heard about one of these stories. I mean, it all starts off with, oh, we're both really experimental and we're both really laid back and we're both it's this. What we do is we take a negative and we turn it into, we're both really evolved and we're not totally uptight. So we're both really, but it's something that he's going to use against you. It's something that he's arming himself. This is ammunition to use against you.
But on a subconscious level, right?
Probably, but this
know.
is a guy who's having intimacy issues, and this is not going to be one of those things that's going to make the relationship stronger. And as a matter of fact, I think it's going to be a means to an end. And as a matter of fact, just the fact that he's asking you is already sort of red flag number one in terms of him wanting to get distance in this relationship.
Okay, so first of all, they live, I think, I don't want to get too specific, but they live in the Northwest area, which is now in the region that she lives in. From what I hear, is that it's there's a lot of fluid sexuality, interesting stuff going on. But here is also my question. Do you want to be married to your husband for the rest of your life?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we've been together for a long time now. And I mean, I see, and that's the thing, is that I'm wondering if it's more just something to experiment or try out, or if it's something that he's going to be like, oh my gosh, I hate this, I never want to do it again. And then it's a negative for us.
Do you guys do you have kids?
No.
All right. Well, that's good.
I didn't mean to say it like that. I love kids, but not
Yeah.
yet. No.
All right. Yeah, I know. It's like I asked her if she had
No,
rats.
it's true because
You have
no,
roaches?
but it
No.
is it really, I mean, you know.
Yeah, when you have kids, it's time to
changes
be a
everything.
mom and time to start being a dad. But what about him and his relationship with his mom? Does he have a good relationship with his mom?
Yeah, they have a great relationship, and she's great. I think it's kind of a pornography thing. Like,
yeah, but do you feel
know.
that he has any intimacy issues? Because this feels like some escape from intimacy.
You know, not really at all. To be honest, we have a really healthy sex life, and we're pretty open about everything.
And what about you? Because I really feel like,
Is there a world where this could work, Adam?
no, I don't. I've never really seen this work. I mean, it can work. It works like cocaine works, which is for a while, and then at some point you OD or you get fired or you get divorced or you drive
Especially,
your
like,
car off a cliff. Like,
What if Sierra has sex with like a really well endowed man?
yeah,
That's and you know what I mean, like, so like that, because that's the thing with dudes, right? Like, it's so well endowed that they can't get the image out of their head. That
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, this is why when I get into the swinging movement, I bring one of those templates that they use on crab ships, you know, to see which ones they keep and which ones they throw back, you know. It's kind of the opposite, where
That's
I
perfect.
keep the small ones and the big ones get thrown back into the Bering Straits. You see, it's not a caliper. It's more, it's a piece of plywood with a 3/4 inch hole in it. But I bring that with me. I made a belt buckle out of it, actually. And when I swing, that's what I bring
But
with me.
here's the weird thing: Sierra sounds like a really kind of. I mean, we've known each other for 2 minutes and 30 seconds now, but like kind of a really well adjusted person.
Yeah, I listen. It sounds fantastic. I just don't trust it. I just have
agree
heard
with
it
you.
enough to know that this guy, like, I worry. I feel like when he comes to you, as cool as he sounds and as experimental and flirtatious as he may sound, there's a part of him that on a maybe an unknowing psychological level, subconscious level, is looking for an out in this relationship.
Or does he want
see,
to?
like, I wonder if that, you know, we obviously have talked about it on many different levels, and I'm like, is it because you potentially want to like sleep with other people? Do we want to do like an open thing? Is that the thing? And he's like, no, I think it's just something I want to see or hear about, and it just kind of it makes me feel like I'm with someone who's hot,
Right.
and other men want her.
No,
all
all guys have a little bit of that. Tell me your naughty story about the time
Right.
when you
Or
were
like-
back
And
in
I
the
kind
day. Like, all guys have. That's
Or, like,
inherent to
when
guys. But you
your
know what?
Dude friend crushes on your girl.
Well, there's
right,
a-
like
there's
there's
a
like
thing-
that's
no.
flattering, right?
Well, it's a thing. It's kind of a thing. Like,
Jesse's girl.
guys want to hear oftentimes, tell me your naughty story from the past before you met me.
Right.
But
Right.
it's sort of the same impulse you have when you have a tooth that hurts and you keep flicking it with your tongue. Like, you know it's there. You kind of wish it wasn't there, but you'll still flick
like, it hurts so good.
There's, you know, human beings, there's many things we do that aren't just about things that make us better or feel good or whatever.
It's true.
We do fuck with ourselves.
Curiosity has been a hard lesson.
Oh
for me
my
to
God.
learn.
I always say more mystery, less history. Like,
Yeah.
girls will go, there's got to be one of my friends who you think's really attractive or something. It's like, and then they'll beat themselves up or whatever
like
it is.
Even the question about how many lovers have you slept with,
Right.
you know,
That's-
whatever.
that's what I'm
Or
saying.
even the passcode. Like, I don't want to know I don't want to know anyone's passcode to anything. I don't want to know, because you know what? People find what they're looking for. And I know we've strayed a little bit from the initial topic, but so I wonder, so he wants to sort of feel an ego boost in a weird way.
I'm
because
saying-
other dudes will get a boner for his hot wife.
I'm saying if that's the case, then that's flawed as well. Like, if he can't just find you attractive and not have to see another guy.
I spoke
got to
to-
see a guy
yeah.
balls deep in my wife in order to know she's attractive. Like,
I spoke to Sierra yesterday when I called her before we actually decided on this call. And she told me that The issue is, it's not. I mean, she's totally down with this. She loves her husband. Her husband loves to watch porn, right? Is that correct, Sierra? Like, he's really into porn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So he's really into porn. And you also told me yesterday that you would not be happy if he slept with other women. Is that correct?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't. I just
Right.
don't think that would be something I'd be into unless I was
so,
there.
But now,
you know?
but so the issue is like he's completely cool with you sleeping with other guys. It's just now your big issue is like, how do you get another guy to do that and without it being weird for everyone involved? Is that really like what you're kind of asking? Because you're cool with everything else.
I mean, yes and no. I also kind of worry that it might be something that he thinks on some level is like something that appeals to him, but then when it comes down to it, he might feel uncomfortable if it actually happens.
Yes.
Yeah, then
So
if you have
I would not
And that's
trust
my
his
apprehension.
instinct on this one. Trust yours.
do you want to have sex with other dudes? Have like what?
No, I want to like flirt with guys, and that's who I am.
Me
That's my
too.
personality.
I know, me too.
I
love
I'm a
flirt.
really big flirt, and it's a lot of fun. But I'm chicken shit. Like, I have no fun. Like, I'm not going to.
Let me ask you
Like, I'd rather just.
a slightly on and off the topic porn question. Your husband watches a lot of porn. You're cool with him watching a lot of porn. Does the porn have to resemble you? Because I always feel like this is where we part porn ways, which is if you're
Porn ways.
well, describe yourself, Sierra.
Well, he definitely has a thing for women that look like me.
Okay, well, see, that's kind of flattering
and-
then. But if he's going after the busty Asians or what, and you're not a busty
No, I
Asian,
mean,
then his fantasy
and
is
that's the
something
thing.
that's not you.
Yeah, like he looks at busty blondes, and I'm a busty blonde, so that's great.
Oh, okay.
That's great. That definitely
All right.
doesn't make me feel uncomfortable at all. But if you're looking at, something that's like, oh, okay, well, that looks absolutely nothing like me. That's a little unsettling.
Right.
That's
right.
why I think it's.
All right. So
it's
Sierra,
more-
listen, I you know what I would really do? I would really sit down and have an honest conversation with him and go ahead and tell him Adam Carolla sent you and go, look, I'm not fundamentally
I will.
I'm not fundamentally against this. But Adam does think it means something, and it's not a good sign. I don't think any of us would take it as a good sign in our relationship if our partner came home and said, it'd be fun. I'd like to start seeing you with other people
That's
sexually.
right. Well, and
that
also-
would mean symbolically, it would mean something, and it would transcend sex.
And if he comes into a less secure place of his life, whether he loses his job or whatever, like the valleys of life. That was a weird thing to say, but if he gets to a place, he's going to be haunted by. If he gets to a place of deep insecurity in his life, which what happens to all of us, he's going to be haunted by whatever dude you may have slept with. Even at the time, it was a turn on to him, thinking that his hot wife, wants or is like.
It's weird,
wants to fuck him,
then
but
you get older and you have
it's going
kids, and it gets a
it's
little
just-
extra weird.
I'm just worried that it's going to haunt him.
All right.
And
I
it'll.
kind of, to be honest, I kind of feel the same way, and that's my hesitation is, I was like, okay, well, if he's into it, but then when it's put into that perspective, it makes more sense that, okay, this could potentially affect us in a negative way. And, because I've seen him get really jealous before. And so it's like-
my
so
God.
it's like,
You just
why-
answered the question.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
All right, Sarah.
Sierra,
If you've seen
Sierra,
it-
do you,
yes, if
Sarah,
you've
do you
seen
feel like
him-
Adam and Anna have helped you?
Sierra,
Oh, yeah,
I want to talk to
absolutely.
you
I have,
for like 3 more
a
hours.
sexpert on the line.
Adam has to go soon, so we're sort of we have to because I really do want to talk to you
I'm
about
going to
this for a
limit
long
it to
time.
2:45.
Will you please keep in touch with us? Because I really think, especially if he has tendencies of jealousy, this is not a road you can go down.
Yeah, I
But-
agree. And I think
ooh.
it could just be like one of these fads that he's like, this could be cool. And then I honestly
I've got an
he's
idea.
setting
haven't really thought it.
himself, and
I've got an
he's setting
idea.
you up.
I've got an idea, and I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Mom and Dad.
Okay.
But what if you got a dildo of whatever size you would like or your partner wants, and he gets to sort of put it in you and pleasure you from like a different, avenue. And right?
Does an avenue start with an A?
Good.
Been there, done that.
Oh, you've been there, done that. Okay. All right. Well, listen, don't let this, he just wants to keep like,
I think it's a highway. I'm not sure if it's an avenue. I think they call it highway. Something highway. I can't
pushing
think of the
it.
name of
And I think that you have to say that this.
Toblerone highway? No.
I think you got to be like, baby.
It's escaping.
I don't
me
want to
now.
fuck anybody else. I just want you.
He's sabotaging. Guy, get rid of her. Listen.
Sierra, thank you so much.
Sierra, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. I love you, Anna. You're one of my favorites.
Oh, my God.
House Bunny is my favorite movie of all time. You're delightful.
Thank
and I love you guys' podcast.
And
so.
Sierra, will you please
for having me.
shoot us an email or whatever and let us know how everything's going? Because we're trying to check in on everybody these days.
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
That
All right.
is
Love you.
Wildly impractical. You see, he has jealousy issues. He's trying to fuel.
I didn't know that part.
I knew it from the word go.
Really?
This is a smash cut. You liked him. That guy fucked you, didn't it? Because he was fucking better than me, wasn't he? Huh?
Well,
you like
I
that
did
wide
remember
cock.
that.
Don't you like
scene
that wide
from
cock? I got a narrow cock.
Sideways.
You like a
Remember that
wide
scene from
cock.
Sideways?
Yeah. That's what it was. Yeah, but the guy, the tow truck driver, ran out naked.
Yes.
Yeah. That's
He wasn't
when
a tow truck driver.
I thought he drove a tow
Yeah, he
truck.
did something like that. He was the huge dude. That
He was a
walked
huge
in.
dude.
But he did not drive a tow truck. You put that in your brain.
I know he came home.
From
work
some
early,
job, right?
And I thought he drove. I thought he drove a tow truck, but maybe he drove a truck or he drove something.
No.
He wasn't he was a youth counselor. The camp closed down early, and I'm home, sweetheart. What? He wasn't. He didn't work at an AIDS hospice or anything. We got to look it up now. But I
He
thought
wasn't.
drove,
That was just so weirdly specific. He was totally not.
he drove. I thought he drove a truck or he did something.
No. He just came home.
Oh, he just came home.
It was a great scene, regardless.
It was a great
Love
scene.
that. All right,
Yeah.
we're gonna call Brittany
the
right
diplomat.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to be a UN ambassador, what country would you like to?
Where does your family hail from?
Well,
The heritage.
Germany.
Hello.
now. Hey, Brittany. We're in the middle of this conversation right now. Sorry,
Hi,
Adam and
Brittany.
Anna are
Family's
talking
from.
about the UN
Yes.
and diplomacy or something.
Oh, sounds serious.
It's
No,
Adam
no,
Carolla's
you're being
here, by the way.
idiots. Hi,
Say hi to
Brittany.
Adam.
Hi.
Anna. How's it going, guys?
Good.
Brittany, last year, last year you visited your best friend and her husband in Austin, Texas. And you've always considered moving there. And during your last visit, she and her husband set you up with a guy and you both immediately hit it off. In fact, you drunkenly hooked up, the first night you met him. And then since then you've seen each other a few times. And then 2 weeks ago you told him that you might be moving to Austin. And then suddenly he became distant. And so you call things off with him. And now you're definitely moving to Austin this month, and you want to know if you should tell him because he's still on your mind. So am I close with that, or am I a little off?
You're close, but I will be fair in saying that we kind of mutually decided to take space because he said to me, he's like, I don't want to do a long distance relationship, and I don't want to date somebody that's just moving there because that's kind of a lot of pressure. And I totally understood, and he was great and honest about it. And so I was there 3 weeks ago, and we had this conversation, and we were talking every day leading up to that. And then after that trip, we pumped the brakes, and we haven't really spoken since then. So I had always wanted to move there, and it was kind of becoming a reality, and it hadn't quite been determined yet. And then just this week, I decided to make the leap, totally unrelated to him. I mean, I haven't been talking to him. And so now, I'm left with as far as my best friend told me, he doesn't know yet, and I know that I'm going to kind of blast it on social media next week after I put my 2 weeks notice in at work, and I just don't know if, I tell him because I don't want to prematurely tell him, and I don't want to not tell him, but I don't want to make it a thing, but I don't know. I don't know what to do.
Well, he's probably listening to this podcast because it's huge in Austin. I checked the demographics before I came out here.
Weren't going to be there, and then he started saying all the details. I'm like, I'm so fucked.
Well, look, here, I do want to tell women and men this. when you meet somebody and you're really into that person, you're into that person. And then I hear a lot of like, well, we're into each other, but we're taking a break because he wants to focus on his career right now, and I want to focus on school. And it's like when you're in, and when you're out, you're out. Like this notion of like, especially with Southwest flights being $141 two ways, it's like this thing is like he doesn't want to. It usually just means like they're not that into. Like I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I've never met a dude who was really into a chick, but when unfortunately I'm focusing on my career and I have to let the love of my life slip through my fingers.
Do you think that is he seeing somebody else in Austin?
It's academic because he's not into her.
I definitely think that because that kind of had come up and we were never exclusive, and I definitely think he was being more open, and I didn't have a problem with that. Like I was realistic, we don't live in the same city, and it just like the timing was off. But either way, I do agree. I feel like you're either all in or you're not. But I think him and I both were kind of teetering on like, do we go all in? Do we not? And it just, so I don't know. But now I'm left with like
don't you think?
Yes.
No. Well, here's the thing: is that it sounds like. And I would be exactly the same way as you are, Brittany. I would be slightly anxious about moving to Austin simply because you would be suddenly worried that this dude thinks you're a stalker, even though it has nothing to do with him. Mm-hmm. So I think yes, right? You tell him, but it sounds like maybe you let him come to you after that. But yeah, I just would never want him to be such a dick and make some presumptuous.
Also, I think what we're doing is we're forcing women to act like men in relationships. Like just hook up and no commitment and don't worry, I'll give you your space. And women aren't really wired for what we're forcing them to do. God bless us. I don't know where this was when I was single, but we're doing a lot of like making women be something other than they really are, or than even nature intended them to be. And it's all in the name of progression. But it's like I talked to a lot of women, or I used to talk to a lot of women who would be like, oh, I've been seeing this guy for 7 years. Oh, are you guys going to get married? Well, we both decided that. You both decided? Well, he's studying for the bar. You both decided that you don't want to get married? Well, yeah, he told me, but I agreed. It's like, stop compromising. You want to do you want to get married? And eventually the chick will go, yes, I would like him to ask me to marry me. Well, then say it, and all I'm saying to you is like,
agree with Adam Carolla right now. But I, at least for me, I always wanted a plan. I always wanted to know. I didn't need the financial stuff. I didn't need, but at least I wanted a plan.
Right.
And
most women want a plan.
That was like 4, 5, 6 years. I wanted to know, because my goal was, I wanted to find a partner that I was really happy with, and someone who was happy enough with me that they would want to spend the rest of their life with me potentially. And if they had doubts about that, then I didn't want to. I didn't, if they didn't like me as much as I liked them, then I wanted to move away from.
Anna, this is
right. And that's how, that's how I feel.
Brittany
the thing
over
that's
here.
hard is like it's like you feel like you have to be like, I feel like I have to be like the cool girl and be like, oh, no.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All girls feel like they have to be cool girl. Like, oh no, hey, if you want to see other people, if you'd like my best friend to blow you, like that'd be fine. I'll make you some popcorn. Like, you don't have to be. You don't go against what your instincts are, and it's crazy that we've done this, but. You're allowed to move to Austin. You're allowed to be interested in him. You're allowed to tell him I'm moving to Austin and I am interested in you. And then he's allowed to do whatever he's allowed to do after that. But this thing where it's like, I'm going to move to Austin and you can see other people and we can still date when it's going against your nature and your grain. I would throw that out the window.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. I don't think I'm equipped for that.
No. And I don't know if this guy's quite for you anyway.
I'm going to go no because we would have known by now.
You haven't moved to Austin yet?
No. 2 weeks notice.
Okay.
Wait, sorry, what did you say?
You haven't moved. You're not in Austin yet.
I'm moving in 3 weeks.
Okay. Good news is there are so many fucking hot guys in Austin.
Amen.
There are so
That is,
many.
I mean, I've been there and seen, but that's what I've heard.
Yes. So don't worry about that element. And if I don't even know if you need to reach out to him to tell him you're moving. I don't want him to have to or I don't want you to feel like he would ever gossip to his friends or whatever that you're stalking him. That's so lame.
Adam,
if he does, it's
or not
To the guy?
to the guy.
No, I don't think so.
Do you have a legitimate interest in this guy?
I do, but
Okay.
I'm like suppressing the feelings.
Yeah.
But that's good.
Not
Don't you
that
think
interested.
playing hard to get is good?
I think it's fine. Look, first off, if somebody can't deal with you being attracted to them, then they're not mature enough to be in a relationship anyway. So there's nothing wrong with you letting this person know that you are interested in them. If that's a turnoff to them, then they're not anyone you'd want to be in a relationship with anyway, because now essentially you're saying I have to trick people into being in a relationship with me. And I'm not saying shit with the door open and have the guy walk past the bathroom. I mean, I understand there's a little mystery and a little allure and all that kind of stuff, but you're not going to trick any guy who's not interested. And if a guy is interested, you're not going to talk him out of it. So
Right.
go ahead. And I suspect you know the answer, and I suspect the answer is not one you want to hear.
Do you think go ahead and tell him?
What grade are we in?
Yeah, but he doesn't own Austin.
No, she's
Well,
interested in
here's the
him.
part where, like, I am for the first month that I'm there, I'm going to be living with my best friend and her husband is one of his best friends.
Oh.
That's like another piece of the puzzle, and it's not. And that's where it's like I don't want to make it off. I mean, I think things are only as awkward as you make them, so I'm not going to make it a thing. But that's why, like, coming into the situation, I want to make sure that.
Yeah, but you
know, it's
better.
not a
There's
routine where
going to be a
awkward.
drunken hookup
Whoa.
here, by the way.
Brittany,
No.
that's so
Yes.
mature. I think you say to him, listen, I'm moving to Austin. I'd love to see you. I totally understand that our relationship has been a little bit vague or whatever. Would love to see you. Please reach out if you ever feel like it. Like do something kind of vague like that, and then put the ball in his
At least
court.
she'll know where she stands. At that
Yeah,
point.
and
Yeah.
then don't do any more after that.
Okay.
Like
It feels a little bit. I know this is terrible, but it feels a little bit like I will lose because right now I feel like I have a little bit of power, which I know is the worst thing to like feel like you have to play that game. But
Yeah.
I feel like if I do that, then I'm just going to be so vulnerable again if you just
Yes.
shut me down.
Yeah,
I
you
guess
will be.
That's the answer I need, right?
Yeah, you will totally be vulnerable. That's what always happens when you like a guy.
This is. Let's just start calling this guy by his first name. It's Woody's brother, Rooster, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, because
Okay.
he's the
Brittany,
king of Austin.
I should tell him then before I go. I mean, like, do I tell him?
Listen to me.
do?
Hold on, quiet. Everyone, listen to me. That's going to be the name of my unauthorized biography. I was talking at the onset about your inner compass. Please get your inner compass calibrated. Please do not ask semi-drunken C-list and A-list, celebrities what their opinion is on your personal move to Austin.
You,
Come
Adam.
on, Adam.
Get
did
your
you-
stuff
Yeah,
straight and
fuck
figure
you.
it out. I called you an A-lister.
Listen, this is what we do. I want
I
to
get
talk
it, but
to
I
people.
mean, you don't. What year is it? How
Taylor,
old are you?
Brittany,
You're
listen,
moving to
do not
Austin.
listen to
Do not
anything
worry
that Adam
about
is
it.
saying. Adam's being
Okay.
a little bit of a dick.
You're not gonna marry this guy.
And
Who
that's
cares?
fine. No, he's just being a
Hey,
dick.
that's
He's a
fair.
little
I
bit
can handle
angry.
Well, how
all know
liberating
this.
would it be if you knew, like,
no, fuck you.
Oh, okay.
All
Well,
right.
I see where this is going. A
I'm
minute
sorry.
ago, I was getting a Rice Krispie treat.
Yeah.
Those
now
days
it's
are
time.
gone.
Now it's time for the fuck you, Adam. And I'm sorry, Brittany. Do not listen to anything he's saying. We love it that you called. We love you, and I bet there's going to be a lot of people that call in because we've had like this wonderful element where people have been asking us about certain callers, and I feel like people are going to be, emailing us and stuff.
Brittany,
about
stay in
you.
touch with us. In a few weeks,
Yes.
reach
I
out to
will.
us and let us know what happens.
And let
okay?
him
I will
know.
absolutely do that. Thank you so much, you guys.
But Brittany, also just say, like, if you ever feel like hanging out, awesome. If not, I just wanted to let you know that I'm here or whatever,
Okay.
Like, and then do not, whatever you do, text him drunkenly.
There's going to be a hookup.
Yeah.
I
I'll just have to
guarantee
delete this number.
whoever lives at that house
Yes.
is going to come downstairs and they're going to see the middle sofa pillow with the zipper facing out, and they're
Or
going to be like,
maybe,
"Why is the
Brittany,
zipper
who
out
knows?
on the middle?"
Maybe,
It's a one.
Pillow.
I don't know, though,
Don't worry,
truly,
there's
though,
nothing going downstairs. Yeah, well, I
if-
think it'll be fine.
if he
I
per-
appreciate the advice, and
but
I'll let
wait,
you know
one
how it
last
goes.
thought, though. If he does, if you play it cool and he pursues you, after like a few, I would say like 3 texts on his end, you have full permission to hook up with him.
Okay.
Well, 3 texts is good for a blowjob. If you want to talk full sex, it's 3 texts and 4 tweets. Anal would
my
be
goodness. This is
a
great.
Yeah, well,
Snapchat
right.
with 2 texts and 3 tweets.
And a Facebook message.
And a Facebook message, okay?
Brittany, thank you.
I got a wristband that's got a whole
Thank you
breakdown
so much
here.
for
Thank you,
calling.
Brittany.
I want to hear,
Thank
and
you, guys.
you're gonna
Have
love
a good one.
Austin. It's so awesome.
Thank you, Brittany.
Thanks. All right, bye.
Adam, you're a dick.
I'm trying to get her compass straight, man.
Her compass straight.
I'm saying
She likes this dude.
I
Have
know,
you not
but
ever
what-
liked them
I do.
before?
I have. I do.
And then did your heart get so
I have.
hardened?
No, I've had my heart broken before. But I've also realized, like, going through life trying to trick people into sort of being attracted to you is not a great posture to be in.
No, totally. But you just have to be. You have to play it cooler, right? Like that's all it is. It's just being
I
like,
don't
I'm
know.
not moving to Austin for you.
I
But-
suspect this guy's not into her. Otherwise, he would have showed some indication of it.
That's
That's
usually
what
what
I'm
happens.
suspecting. Yes.
One more call.
All right.
Let's do it. Then we'll wrap it up after that.
Are we gonna rack it up?
Rack
Sam?
it up and wrap it up.
This is
We're calling
good.
Karen.
The
By the way,
Mangria, yeah.
I have never been buzzed on this
I
show
know.
before, but I feel like 2 of those mangrias,
Ooh boy!
I'm like slurring my words already.
Did you put something else in here?
Wait, what is it?
No,
20,
this is just-
it's
it's
21% alcohol. by
I
volume?
know, and it goes down very easily.
It really does.
Yeah.
How many have I had? 6. No.
No, you've.
The
But,
equivalent-
but here's the beauty. You've
I've
only,
had 3. I've had 3,
you've-
so that's equivalent of 6.
Oh,
You've only had like 7 ounces of liquid. That's the beauty of it. You've not consumed a lot of actual liquid.
well,
It's potent liquid, but it's
I-
not a lot. We drank 1 bottle of Mangria, and everyone caught a little buzz, right? It was 1
Yeah,
bottle,
yeah,
and
yeah.
there's
how
five
did you
people.
meet your wife again?
I met my wife at a Jimmy Kimmel event. He was a sports guy for K-Rock Radio, and he did a Monday Night Football event.
Your wife or your husband?
My husband Jimmy was doing an event when he was not Jimmy Kimmel. He was Jimmy the sports guy from K-Rock, and my wife showed up because she worked for a place called, I think, Genesis Entertainment, and I had shot a pilot and blah, blah, blah. She worked for the company that I shot a pilot for, and I think she liked me. I think that was the deal. But I liked her as soon as I saw her. And then we had
You
this
did?
great...
What was it?
We had this
about
great
her?
inn. My wife has a great physique. And it's the first thing I noticed when she just came walking around the corner, kind of thing. But
Just a
also,
beautiful body.
and, yeah, and she's Italian, and I love. I just like that. I'm half Italian, but I sort of like that Italian look.
Like
Gina
dark
Lola
hair.
Brigida, yeah,
I mean, they're beautiful.
yeah, the
Like,
great, yeah, that great Italian look, and then she's super sweet. But I had this great in because she had seen the pilot that I'd shot for Loveline because her company had did it, and I'd never seen it. And so I had this great, like, oh, can I call you and get your,
and
see the
she
pilot?
was like,
you know?
okay.
Yeah. And it was,
And then
Pretty
you
much that was
started
it.
dating.
yeah. And we went out. I don't know. I'm bad with all this stuff. And we got engaged, and then we got unengaged for like a year, basically because I'd essentially become a celebrity, and I'd been like driving a pickup truck and swinging a hammer and working, scraping roofs in Chatsworth, and all of a sudden I was on MTV, and I was like the belle of the ball, and I just wanted to be single. I just wanted
fucks
to
with
be
your
single.
head, doesn't it?
It did. And it, well, I don't know if it fucked with my head. It was just like, it was this thing where it's like, everywhere I went, because this is the way MTV used to be, it was like ubiquitous.
Sure.
If I ever went to a strip club, it'd be playing on the monitors at the bar, behind the bar. Like my show would be on while I was at the bar because they just put it on MTV and it'd come on like 11 o'clock at night. Or if I was at a sports bar, it would just be up on the TV. And all of a sudden, for the first time in my life, everyone was coming up to me and talking to me and being super flirty and friendly with me. And
Sure.
all of a sudden, and I was just like,
No, it's like it really it makes your head drunk, like ego
well,
drunk.
especially when you're a guy and all you've been doing is working around other dudes on a construction site your
Right.
entire life, and having girls come up and talk to you in a bar and all that kind of stuff. And as I alluded to with Natalie from the Dixie Chicks, I'm not really much of a cheater. I didn't really have, like, I wasn't the kind of guy that was going to fuck around a lot and, keep the relationship going. So I basically just said, I don't want to get married. Like, I'm not, it's too early. There's too much going on.
Yeah.
I'm not used to this. It's total, I went from a life of blue collar, poverty, obscurity to everyone coming up to me and talking to me. And I just said, I can't handle it. And we broke up for a year. And then we got back together, and we've been together ever since.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. I wasn't with anyone sexually. She was with 128 guys during that time. So it didn't really work out, the way I basically stayed home and
Did you
beat
guys
off a lot.
have
Hello?
Karen.
Hello?
It's Karen.
Hi.
Hi, Karen.
Hi, Karen.
Hi.
Hi, Karen.
Anna's here, and so is Adam Carolla.
Hi. How are you guys?
Good.
Oh, we're good. We're so happy to talk to you.
All right, I can't wait to hear what Adam's going to say about this. But Karen, you found out that your coworker, the coworker you've been sleeping with, is married, and now you feel
Yeah.
awful, and now you're contemplating telling his wife.
Yes.
So before Anna and Adam give you their advice on what to do, just give us a little bit more background, and let's see if it's the right move for you.
Okay, so about 2 months ago, I started sleeping with my coworker because I thought we were, hopefully going to go into a relationship. He made it sound like we were going to go into a relationship, and he told me that he was falling for me. So being a girl, you're obviously going to believe what he said, and I did. So the last time we got together, we went to his apartment because I kept saying, hey, let's go to your apartment. Why do we always have to go other places, So when we went to his apartment, he kept looking outside, and I thought it was weird because nobody does that. It just wasn't right. So I asked immediately, like, why do you keep looking outside? Why do you keep doing this? And he just looked at me and said, I'm sorry, but I'm married.
Wow.
And I just, yeah.
And his wife like work some sort of like night shift as a nurse or something, or?
No, she works, I guess she works during the night. Yeah, she does work during the nights because we always met up early morning.
Because I would always,
And,
when I was doing this, I'd be like, are we going to go to your apartment or should we go to my motel?
I like
And they always got suspicious, but they never really asked.
So he doesn't wear a ring at work?
No, he doesn't wear a ring at work, which is why I, assumed he was on the market for like.
So
he
told. How long has he been married?
I have no. I think he. I found out from a coworker last night. He's been married for 14 years.
So have you ended it? Or
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because we were supposed to meet up last night, and because we were going to meet up, and I told him, hey, let's meet at a restaurant because I didn't obviously want to meet somewhere private because I just didn't want to be in a private situation. So I texted him to meet me, and I got to the restaurant, and he texted me and said he was not coming. So
Yeah,
I just
he wants sex.
yeah.
Okay, so I'm more concerned about you, Karen. Are you doing okay with this?
Yeah, I'm lucky I have really good friends that have been sticking with me through the whole thing. My sister, we're twins, so she's been more intuitive to it all than I have, and I didn't want to believe her, but I should have believed her anyways. But she's been the best support that I've had throughout this whole thing.
I got a great idea. Why don't we have your twin sister fuck this guy, and then while they're fucking at your place, you and the wife come walking through the door, arm in arm, and see how fast this guy's boner goes away. That'd be like the greatest buzzkill in the world. That'd be even better than Jimmy Kimmel and me and the Dixie Chicks, wouldn't it? Like, you invite him to your place, you have your sister there wearing your perfume, and you circle back with the wife. That would be awesome. Now, what is the age difference between you two?
10 years. I'm 23 and he was 33.
Okay. So, and the part where you want to tell the wife, how much of that is she needs to know and how much of that is fuck this guy?
Well, if it were me, personally, I would want to know. But at the same time, it's like, it's already gone on so much that I don't feel like I should say it. It's more of like, I should just put it in the past and not say anything.
You should.
But at the same time,
yeah.
You think so?
Yes. There's a lot of routes.
There'll be other messengers, sadly, but it can't be you.
The thing is this too. Like, sometimes the best and the most difficult thing to do is nothing. Like, there's a lot of people that go like, you got to report this guy to your manager right now, or you've got to go confront his wife. Like, right. There's a lot of that, but in life, like, as you get older, you realize the best kind of posture to be in is to literally just go, all right, that was an episode in my life. I'm young. I made a mistake.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I'm a bad person.
Yeah.
And it's not your fault. It's his fault. Moving on.
That's right.
Yeah.
And truly, I believe that he'll find out through maybe not about you guys, but about other affairs that he'll have in the future. And you don't. I just want to protect you. I just don't want you know what I mean? Like, I don't want her to be hating on you or him.
Yeah,
to be,
it's just more onions.
It could be more damage just towards you, even though there is a satisfaction of being able to be like.
It's never that satisfying, though.
It's momentarily satisfying to be like, "Fuck you! Guess what? I fucked your." You know what I mean? Whatever. But that lasts literally for 4 minutes, and then.
But now in the realm, like, circling back to the more mystery and less history, this is one of those stories that your husband in 2 years doesn't really need to know all the details of.
Right.
Like, this will be one of those. This will just be with you and your friends. Like, this doesn't have to be one of those, oh, and guess what I did when I was 23 kind of stories.
Well, yeah, but but you should, you know what? She's going to have so many experiences. She's going to get married at 30 to the love of her life.
Yeah,
And
I'm saying this is going to be one of those stories that will piss off the new guy. Like, he'll want to find this guy, or he'll want to tell the husband or the wife or whatever it is. Like, it'll just be one more thing rattling around his head at night. Like, he doesn't need this story.
It's true. It's true.
Right. No, I agree.
There is definitely a wisdom in sort of keeping some things to yourself.
How was this guy able to keep his sort of the general knowledge of his marriage that low key in the workplace?
See, that's the thing that I'm trying to figure out. Maybe he's just a private person. He's always been very private with me, which is one of the signs I should have picked up on immediately. Only 2 people that I work with knew about his marriage, and I had not ever asked them about that.
He's horrible. I don't like him at all. He's holding a lot of secrets. I do not like that.
Yeah, unless he's a Hawks fan, and then he's okay by Anna. But other than that, if she's not a Seahawks fan, no love.
I gotta tell you, there's something weird about that dude. If people he doesn't wear a ring, people in a workplace aren't familiar with his relationship. I don't know. I do not like this guy.
Well, and here's the funny part. My dad warned me against him.
Oh, yeah, he knew. And listen, they should know. Yeah. I go into work complaining about my wife every single day. Everyone knows about my love for her.
Okay, so listen, don't do anything. Sit tight.
Okay.
Sit tight.
Okay.
If you can. Don't do anything, because I don't want any weird repercussions, and I just want you to be protected.
Also, be prepared for like one last college try that this guy does.
Oh yes, for sure.
We're separating. I mean, we're still living together, but we are separating. And I just want to come by to your apartment with some water soluble lube just to clear the air one more time. Now we're staying. Obviously, we're in the same home, but we are separating. She does know, and I just want to come by one more time.
Right,
but you're going to get that one.
That's smart.
Don't listen
Adam.
to that.
Don't do it. Thank
you guys so much.
He sounds like a manipulative.
No, thank you guys.
Asshole.
You gave a heavy heart a little bit of a lighter. You've made me feel a lot better about
Well, that's why I do the podcast.
It's weird that
that's why I invited Anna on today, because there's a lot of heavy hearts out there.
I don't want to deliver bad news, but I do.
Well, thank you so much.
I do want the people that I love, like you, to protect their hearts. So keep us informed.
I really do appreciate that.
Let us know. And let us also know if we need to send our death killer squad out there to chop up this
We got
dude.
some bow hunters around here.
It's true.
Good to know. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
All right, Karen.
All right, please,
night.
Karen, keep in touch.
Yeah, when you're 23, you just don't know anything either.
Oh, my God. She sounds so much smarter than I was at 23.
If you realize how little you knew when you were like 23, like what kind of thoughts you were having, where your head was at, like it's insane. You even wonder how you navigated life, like how.
I know, and back then we had like pagers, and
I didn't deal drugs, so I just kind of went to work. But anyway,
Adam Carolla,
yeah,
thank you.
Thank
so
you.
much.
Hey, I enjoyed this, man. This was really fun. Yeah.
And thank you for your Mangria. It's an awesome product.
I definitely love the Mangria.
If you would ever have me on your show,
sure.
I would love to be there.
Yeah, my booker, Mike August, is
sitting right next to you,
just to my right. So
he's also your producer.
Yeah, and I'm pretty close to where you work, so you can just.
I'd love that. Do you have any final words or thoughts?
Well, the two that come to mind are, if it doesn't make you money and it doesn't make you happy, don't do it, because there's a lot of people who want to send a lot of shitty tweets or emails or do whatever. Like, I'm going to blah, blah, blah. And I always tell everyone, stop. Don't do it. Really think. By By the way, it might make you happy to tell someone to fuck off, in which case tell them to fuck off. But put everything through the spaghetti colander of does it make you money or does it make you happy? And if it doesn't fall into one of those two colanders, maybe don't do it. And as I like to say around my podcast, don't do your best, do my best.
Thank you so much, Adam.
Thank you.
Adam Carolla, thank you.
Thank you.
It's truly, you are a dream. This is a huge deal for us.
Well, we'll reunite on my podcast.
I would love that.
Very shortly.
I would love that.
Thank you.
Good night, dear listeners.